Greetings, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we check out another indie game. This time we're looking at Below Sunshade. This game is the breakout title by small developer Arvus Games, and is a mix of Japanese RPG, visual novel and survival crafting game. The campaign has us controlling the survivor of a shipwreck. We're on a dangerous island, and we'll need to meet up with our fellow survivors, fend off the island's hazards, and find a way to escape alive. Now, in addition to the usual mechanics for survival and visual novel games, this game has a bit of plot development. So I'm going to have to do a bit of editing. But we're going to check out some of the campaign, and I'm going to let you know what my thoughts are. Let's have a look at Below Sunshade. So the first decision we need to make is what difficulty we want to use. We're going to go with the default difficulty. Easy mode does give us an unlimited amount of time to finish the game, but I like a bit of a challenge. With default mode, we have 30 days to complete the game before we are met with our fate. So being an RPGMaker game, we have to manually enter our name, or stick with the default. Now, there are a number of endings to the game, and depending on the decisions we make and the people we befriend and the enemies we make along the way, that will determine what ending we get, good, bad, or different. All passengers and crew are aboard Captain.
Thank you, Bosun.
Thank you, Bosun.
Did we take on any new cargo or passengers in Zos?
So the captain's asking what the state of the cargo on the ship is. We have some clothing and jewellery for shipment to Valorn, and an elven noblewoman who booked a passage to Valorn as well. Now we can see that the elves and the humans have a bit of a strained relationship. We're not at war, we don't have hostilities, but there is a great deal of distrust there.
Aye, that I do. I better go welcome aboard personally then.
Good luck, Captain. The captain's going to go and play diplomat, and he's told us to get underway. So we're headed to the high seas in search of fortune and glory, or just a bit of pay. Everything is going fine. It's a regular trip until things go bad. Things go sideways and we find ourselves in a rather nasty storm. Everyone to the upper deck, now. Oh god, my leg. Why is everyone... a storm? I need to help the captain. So anyone who's played a RPGMaker game will immediately be at home here. We can already see the ship is taking on a fair bit of water. What in Kanitro's name is going on here? Things are not going well. The ship's going down. I have to jump. Now, I'm not going to go this way. I'll get pulled underneath the ship and die for sure. Our best bet is to get out of the ship at the highest possible point. We've gotten free of the ship. I have no idea how many other survivors are alive, but rest assured we are not alone. So we've floated to the island on a piece of driftwood, barely escaping a fate that is pretty nasty. I reckon drowning is probably the worst way I can think of dying. Trapped under tons of water, slowly asphyxiating. Gonna wake up, get our bearings, and hopefully find some other survivors. Ugh. What? The Galate, the crew. I should probably check for any survivors. Now our elven passenger has made it. The elven ice queen we took on board at Zaz.
I'm awake. Human oaf.
This is Idrune, a rather prickly customer. Doesn't really like us a lot, but she has some very useful abilities, which if we can establish a relationship, this will greatly increase our chances of survival on the island. So I'm going to try and be diplomatic. Look, we didn't get off to the best start. I'm still Incarnate. I was the bosun on board the Galate.
Yes, I remember your face well enough. Even if humans have a tendency to look the same.
So again, Idrune doesn't really think a lot of humans.
My station and occupation are not relevant to the situation.
I think your station doesn't worry me, but your occupation does. Are you going to get off the beach at some point?
I was just about to before you came along. So let me...
So Idrune has found herself in a bit of a mischief. She's heavily injured.
I think my leg might be injured. You will have to help me walk.
I'm going to help her. Again, she might be a bit of a pain, but she does have some very useful abilities, and at the moment it's only the two of us.
Thank you. Just, what were you put your hands, alright?
Seriously, lady? Getting fresh is the last thing on my mind when we're one step away from drowning. We should find somewhere to make camp further ashore. Preferably somewhere near fresh water.
I shall defer to your judgment on that. As long as we don't have to walk too far.
So let's head up north. Looks like we'll have to climb. So obviously she's not going to climb in her current condition. Again, she does get on my nerves. Some people just can't be practical. But again, we're going to work on our relationship. Hopefully, we can at least establish a working relationship. Because as you can see, we're not alone on the island, and all of the battles in the game, if you've ever played a Japanese RPG, turn-based combat, pretty standard. The game does have some interesting abilities though, which we can actually cultivate as we go through the game. We can learn abilities. We can also find lost texts around the island, which will teach us different techniques. We can learn things from the other characters that we'll find. But for now, we have nothing but our little stick as we try and fight off a boar. Now the boar has opened up a wound. We need to use our bandage to patch ourselves up. Beautiful. Now, in addition to us having special skills, the enemies do too. This boar is going to use a charge attack, and we can stop that by kicking him. Bam. That has stopped his special attack and has stunned him as well. Okay, we've got him on the ropes. The boar's going to go for another attack, and we don't have any mana. So we're going to use a regular attack, and hopefully if this lands, we've won. Beauty. So we've got the rope. We're going to head up to the cliff. Climb up here, and then we're going to drop a rope down to get it to the top of the cliff. Now, this is our new home for the next 30 days. Here we have clean water, relative safety, nearby resources and food, and it's one of the less hostile areas of the island. For now, we're going to need to start on a base.
Oh, thank the gods. I don't think I could stand walking any further.
Idrune is pretty hurt still, so her usefulness is going to be rather limited.
Starting to enjoy having your arm around me a little too much, human.
Again, priority is Idrune. I'm not going to go with the option that I'm heavily considering. Let's play to our vanity, her vanity, a little bit more. I do know what human men can be like. Well, let's have a look. Self-sacrificing, helpful. Did I miss anything?
Well, in Zas, we were often told that human men can be very lecherous individuals who have little control over their urges.
The only urge I have, lady, is to drop kick you over the side of the cliff I just hauled you up.
Rather crude and brutish.
Yeah, you're a real ray of sunshine, lady. So we have very limited time and resources. For now, we're going to restrain ourselves from the urge to hurl her over that cliff and make a basic set of beds for us to sleep in. Okay. I made a basic bed for you, Idrune. Thank you. What do you know? She can be pleasant when she has to be. So we can't do any more exploration today. We're going to get some sleep. Now here we've got our various menus, our inventory, pretty empty right now. Skills, we'll be able to add to these as we level up, as we fight various enemies, and we can find different items on the island and different tomes. We've got our list of quests here. At the moment we just have some, apart from our main quest to escape, we need to do a few basic quests. But for now, we're going to have a chat with Idrune and explore the island and start gathering some basic resources to survive. So after a fitful night of sleep, Idrune is unhappy with her current accommodations. We're going to try and playsate her by looking into some better beds.
We do have more important matters than my discomfort.
At least she's being a bit more practical now, being
Namely,
concerned.
how shall we escape this god-forsaken island?
Being concerned with how we're going to get off this island. Luckily for you, I sailed with someone who survived a similar shipwreck. What they did was make some basic stone tools and use them to chop enough lumber to build a signal fire or maybe even a raft. Luckily, there seems to be plenty of trees on the island if nothing else. What are we going to eat? It feels like forever since I ate anything. That is true. But we can find several sources of food on the island, including fruits and vegetables, and we can also take out some of the island's less dangerous predators. If I must be stranded on an island and left to wear these tattered rags that were once my clothing, then at least I'm stranded with someone who is capable.
I suppose humans do have a sort of...
Better be careful there, Drune. That sounds like you gave me a compliment. The next goal is to have a bit of a look around the island.
That sounds logical. I shall have a look around for any food I can find.
But Idrune is still heavily injured and will be out of action for the next few days. So we're gonna have to carry the team.
One last thing. Is that mountain in the middle of the island supposed to have smoke coming out of the top?
So Idrune isn't aware of what a volcano is.
A what?
Volcano. It's like a mountain, except the middle is full of this fiery, thicker liquid that occasionally spurts out. Giggity.
That sounds incredibly dangerous.
Foreshadowing. So we need to worry about the volcano.
So, you don't think we're in any danger?
What's the worst that could happen? Pompeii 2.0? So we've placated her for now. Our next goal is to head off in search of resources. Food, branches, anything we can get our hands on. Stones. There's a boar over here. We can go and take him out for a bit of food. These guys aren't too dangerous. Okay, so once again, we're getting the hang of this. Give him a bit of an old kick to the head. Works every time. Beautiful. So we've got some meat, we've got some hide, and we've got some bone. All of which can be used to make various tools and armour. The meat, of course, will keep us alive. We can also use it to keep Idrune fed. At least until she can start gathering resources by herself. But my back's getting awful sore from carrying the team. She will come into her own later on. And she's got some very useful skills. She just hasn't disclosed what they are yet. She's got a certain set of skills. Some of them, if she had have told us about earlier, it might have made these combat encounters a bit easier, but for now, we're on our own. So, one thing I want to do though is make some healing items because we may run into some more encounters. I can't yet. I'll just need to be real careful. Okay, for now, just gather what we can. Branches. All this good stuff. Our main priority is branches, stone, and leaves. Because all this stuff we're going to be using to make our workbench. Which will in turn allow us to make some decent tools and give us a far better chance at hunting and fishing and of course defending ourselves against the various hazards of the island. Speaking of which, we've got one right here. So going to again, use our training. We're getting pretty hurt here. I'm going to try and... I want this to end quickly. I'm going to use our kick once more. Beautiful. We're pretty hurt, so let's use a skill to recover our health. Finish this bad boy off. Beautiful. So we've got some more meat, some more hide. These nodes here, we can later on, once we build the right tool, do ourselves a little bit of mining. Right for now, I've got some energy to spare. We need to be careful though. There are some raptors in this area. Very dangerous. We're going to try and avoid those. There he is. So let's just go up through here. Leaves. Stones. He's kind of chilling out in the area I want to go to, so... I wonder if I can go around. Can I? No, I can't. That's okay. Well, I'm not going to risk it. If he catches us, we're dead for sure, so... We're nearly out of energy anyway. I can't really carry much more. I'm going to head over this way. And we'll check on the shipwreck, which I forgot about. So over here, there is a ship that once we talk with a couple of the other island inhabitants, we can convince them to allow us to commandeer the ship and begin to repair it. Okay, beautiful. We've got some stones. What stones? No stones. Okay. Fantastic. So this looks familiar. This is our ship. Now we can get onto the ship and gather what supplies we can get. I'm not going to be doing it now because there are some residents inside that ship. Very dangerous. So we're out of energy now. Let's head on home, shall we? And check if we have enough resources to build ourselves a workbench. Ah, we do. Excellent. So now what we're going to do is we're going to build our workbench. The old humble workbench, the staple of survival games. Here we could build some basic resources. I'm going to make some bandages. Just in case we need some weapons. Now what I can do here, you can see here we've got a spear and an axe, and these things are going to be very, very useful. The spear is going to allow us to defend ourselves, and the axe is going to let us cut down trees. So these are both very useful, but the axe is a bit more handy because you can cut trees and you can also use it as a weapon. The spear will let us catch fish. So at the moment we can't build any of that. So we're going to catch some Z's and restore our energy. Now here we have some clues. We need to find someone and we need to repair a boat. And we've already seen the boat that we need to repair. Now, there is a chance during the night you'll be attacked, and we have been attacked again. The bloodsucker is not very strong, but it has the chance to poison you, which can be very nasty, and it can also cause you to bleed. Fantastic. So we managed to defend our camp. And we're going to again set out for resources to build some basic tools to allow us to expand the camp. So after the attack of the previous night, it's very obvious that we need some sort of protection while we're sleeping. The most obvious solution is a campfire. And to do that, I'm going to need a fair amount of tools to be able to gather the resources to build one. The other problem is that Incarnate is starving. My stomach still grumbles. I picked some gooseberries from a bush, but there must be more of them out there. So hungry. So Incarnate is starving, and truth be told, we're also pretty hungry. Now that I have the crafting bench, I can make what we need. But for now, I need to gather the tools to be able to build a spear. The spear will allow me to defend myself and also to be able to fish. Right now I'm after stones, branches and leaves. Now if we get enough to build the spear, I can head down to the beach. Catch myself some fish. I'm going to avoid this ball for now. Don't need more meat just yet. Let's see if we've got enough to build the spear. Excellent. Okay, so the next thing is to give Incarnate the food. She's not very grateful.
Not bad. Thank you.
But for now, that will keep her from starving, and that's one less problem we have to worry about. Now, of course, we've got other sources of food. We've got the meat that we picked up off the boars. And soon, hopefully, if we are successful, we will have some fish. So we're going to equip our brand new spear. Now, keep in mind this only increases our chance. It doesn't guarantee a successful catch. It certainly makes it a lot easier. No dice. Oh! And we have our first fish. Excellent. So now we can really start to stockpile some food. We can't cook it yet though. So Incarnate won't be able to eat the fish. But for now, we're gathering stones and branches. Anything we can find to build a campfire. Now there is one other spot I wanted to visit, but it's in a pretty dangerous area. We're going to be really careful. This is Raptor country here. Them raptors get pretty hungry, so let's sneak on by. There's a temple in the middle of the swamps, and the temple has a few items I really want, but the creatures in this area, if they catch me, I'll be ripped to pieces. Fighting is not an option right now, even with my handy dandy new spear. Here we go. So this temple has one of the most useful items in the early game, which is a tome. And the tome increases our health. We now have a passive skill which increases our total health, which is going to be very, very useful in the later part of the game. The glowing orb we just picked up also allows you to get one of the other endings in the game. Apparently if you collect all 4. Now granted, I've only found the location of 3, but the other areas on the island were pretty dangerous, so I'm going to explore those once I get some better weapons. Just going to sneak on past this little bee here. Half the fun of the game is figuring out what enemies you can safely attack and which ones you need to avoid. You know, the raptors were pretty obvious, we don't want to be tangling with those, but some enemies in the game look pretty harmless, and trust me, they are not. The raptor over here, just let me slip on by. Nothing sus. I'm gonna get out of here. If he can run way faster than me. If he sees me, it's a game over. Okay, we're back to safety. Now I'm gonna head over to where we were before. I need more branches and more stone. So branches, because we're gonna need a lot of branches for a campfire. Take those carrots as well. And, oh, there's some branches there. I'm going to have to take this boar out to get to them, though. Now, our chances should be somewhat better now that we have a decent weapon. As you can see, we're doing far more damage. And this fight's going a lot better. We're becoming expert at this by now. Beautiful. There's our branches. We're going to head down to the beach once more. We need a ton of stone if we're going to build a campfire. We may not have enough. I'll see. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes you don't want to grab all the resources in the area. You want to try and prioritize what you need, because you only have that pool of energy and it goes down real quick. Once you start mining, once you start getting some of the bigger resources in the game, you'll find that your energy is used up very quick. Okay, I don't think there's anything else. And we're just about out of energy, so let's head back home and cross our fingers we have enough resources for what I'm intending to make. So first things first, let's make ourselves an axe. This will allow me to cut down the tree trunks, the ones that we've been seeing lying around, and give me some wood, which we can then process into coal. And we'll see if I've got enough for a campfire. Not yet. So you can see here we don't have a campfire yet. I'm 2 stones away. That's a kick in the old pants, that is. Let's see if I can... I've got a tiny, tiny sliver of energy. I'll just see if we can get lucky. Sometimes the stones respawn. I may have missed one too. Literally 2 stones. Oh, look at that. Yes, they have. Beauty. I've just got enough. There we go. Let's head on back. How's that? I just had enough. If I had got greedy, I wouldn't have had the energy to grab those stones. I'd like to get those branches too, but doesn't matter. Okay, so let's go and build our... no, I need to build here. And here's a campfire. Fantastic. Now the campfire has a number of uses, the main one being to keep us safe at night. And have I got enough branches? I reckon I have. I do. Excellent. So let's fuel this bad boy up. Fantastic. So now what we've got a set of tools. We've got a spear for catching fish. We've got an axe for felling trees. We've got enough branches to keep the fire running for another night, which means now when I get some sleep, we won't end up getting attacked again. But I'm going to leave it here. I hope you enjoyed my look at Below Sunshade. It is an acquired taste. I understand that not everyone is going to be interested in this game. And if I had to add a tiny bit of constructive criticism, I think for games like this, it would be nice to have an option for players who want to play the game without the extra content, if you know what I mean. So if that's something developers may want to consider, I certainly don't want to censor the game, but it is nice to have that extra option there for players who may want to do that. It certainly will increase the audience for this game. But yeah, again, I understand it's not for everyone. I certainly enjoyed the game. There was a lot of depth to it. The crafting system, the characters were interesting, to say the least. And, you know, I don't play a lot of RPGMaker games. This is actually one of the good ones. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you want to see more, leave me a like, leave me a subscribe. Thank you to the developer for letting me have a look at the game. And hopefully you'll catch me next time when we check out another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.